see her lying back in her satin dress in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care.
Happy Homebrew Wednesday. It has been a crazy week. Another week of, I guess you can call it quarantine at this point. I mean, we're pretty much quarantined. Our Virginia governor put us on lockdown. Well, we're supposed to stay at home unless we have to go out for, essential reasons. I think as far as employees, I'm considered an essential workforce, but I'm able to do my stuff remotely, so I don't have to. I don't have to go. Sneezing is not one of the symptoms. It's very rare. It's COVID. But I'm not one of the essential, or I am an essential employee, but I can do my stuff via telework. So I wanted to share this beer that I'm pouring here. It's from Fairwinds Brewery. It's a local brewery here in Lorton, Virginia, which is not too far from my house. And this is actually a hoppy lager. It's called 100% Pure Adrenaline. I think it's like a session lager with a ton of hop character. It's really nice. But I called them today, put in an order, had them deliver probably about 2 cases of beer, which highly recommended. It's really nice, and shared some with my neighbors. So keep your local businesses, your small businesses, especially the craft brewer guys, right? It's really a tough time for them right now. They don't have people coming to their tap rooms, so it's all on distribution and selling and getting their beers out. So if you find one that's locally, chances are they probably will deliver. So let's take a sip real quick. So what have I been up to? Got my SJ pour. I know all the SJ pour round 1 entrants are very quiet right now, so I'm assuming there's a lot of judging going on. I think they have another, what's the date? I think to the 10th or something to get their, it's on the website, but they've got a little time yet to get their scores all uploaded and everything. So that's exciting. And then turn around and probably a few weeks later we'll be shipping our stuff off. I think I'm going to ship mine off on the 20th of April. That's what I got to do to get to a hub or something. Unless I'm a hub, then I don't know what I'll do. But I stocked up on a bunch of, speaking of supporting local and craft beer, I went and bought a couple, and maybe I'll show a picture here. But a couple of bags of grain, big, 60-pound bags or 50, I don't know what they were. But I got some Pilsen malt, some Avant-Garde Pilsen malt, and I got some Breeze 2-row. It's always 2 good malts for me to have on hand. For one time I did a bag of 2-row and a bag of Maris Otter, and that kind of doesn't make sense unless you're making a bunch of European beers. And the 2-row and the Maris Otter is kind of too similar, but the Pilsner and the Pilsen malt and the 2-row I think is a good combination. So, if I do it again, I'll maybe get. I think I'll always keep Pilsen, and maybe I'll get Maris Otter next time. I don't know. We'll see. So I got that. I went and got a bunch of hops. I got some recipe ingredients for old school. I got one for a Pilsner, which I think I'll show the brew day footage here if I haven't already. It's a brew day. I am doing a German Pils. The German Pils is going to have 10 pounds of Pilsen, probably about a 1/4 ounce of acidulated malt, maybe not even that. I just maybe like an ounce. Actually, or I said 1/4 pound, maybe like an ounce or 2 of acidulated malt, probably 2 ounces. I'm using Hallertau and Tettnang for my hops, Tettnang for bittering, Hallertau for flavor and aroma, and I'm looking for about 36 IBUs. So yeah, this is I'm kind of getting on my lager kick. So this is like the first one, probably, hopefully, of many of the series. I want to try to dial in. I'm gonna do it first, just with my water, just to see how it comes out, and then I'll look at what I need to do in terms if I need to do any tweaks to it. I didn't put any carapils or anything like that because I want to see what kind of head retention I get out of just the Pilsner. I'm going to do like a, what do you call it, a mash rest at like 170, I think, for about 10 minutes. I've heard good things about that with head retention, so I'm gonna try that. I probably shouldn't have an issue with it because I normally sparge over a long period of time with 168. So, but I'm gonna do it. Said to obviously I'm gonna do a 90-minute boil so I can make sure I don't have any DMS. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll have to put my numbers in here what I'm shooting for pre-boil and OG. But anyway, cheers. All right, I think that's running pretty clear. So I did a 10-minute protein rest or mash rest at 160. That is very clear. That is pretty. Initial running's 1080, it looks like, right? Look at these initial runnings. That is pretty. That's going to be crystal clear pills. Figured I better drink something German since I'm brewing the pills. It's not bad. This is always my favorite part. Cheers. All right, don't know if you can see that, but I'm about almost 4 gallons in and I'm at 1051. Beautiful foam here, but these Pilsner, man, it comes with a lot of protein. It's surprising. All right, here we are. Nice, good lagering going on. Nice krausen. Loving that. And we are at 52 degrees. Perfect. Did that brew day. It turned out being a great brew day. I think my numbers were pretty close too. I was over on the post mash, but I was under on the OG, but not enough that it really hurts anything. I mean, I was going to be a little bit high anyway for Pilsner, so I'm kind of glad I didn't, get the same efficiency on the back end. I'm not sure why that happened, so I'll have to kind of play with my beersmith and get the efficiency estimates down, so I'm hitting my numbers again. I mean, who knows? I got a new grain crusher, and the grain crusher I have is good. It's more sturdy and it does a better job crushing, but it's got 2 little butterfly nuts in the back that kind of keep coming loose. So I think I'm not being very consistent with so I need to sort that out. Yeah, we're spending a lot of time at home, aren't we? And one thing good about this is I'm getting a lot of time with the family, a lot of time with the kids. Sometimes that's not good, but most of the time it is. And you have discussions with your kids that you don't normally have because you're around each other all the time. And I think there's some goodness into that. So I'm trying to look at it I know a lot of people are griping on, why are we stuck and why'd the governor do, I'm trying to put a positive spin on everything. Teleworking's not a bad gig. You roll out of bed in your PJs and eat some eggs and then fire up the computer and, you're very comfortable. And at some point, probably around lunchtime, I said, let me go ahead and get a shower so I feel normal. So that's been kind of an interesting deal. My wife and I did our backyard. We mulched everything. I'll throw some pictures up of that. Sounds like the Tracker Jackers. Look, the leaves are coming out. The awesome thing about this period is that we're getting a lot of time with the family that we wouldn't normally have had. Very happy, and I think spring is about to hit even more. I mean, the flowers are already sprouting up, but soon all the bushes and stuff we have are going to go crazy, and all the cool purples and pinks are going to pop out. So I'm really excited about that. I think we're going to order one of those solo bonfire systems that go in your backyard that keeps the smoke from blowing on you. So we're going to get one of those and start to enjoy some backyard fires before it gets too cold or before it gets too warm. And yeah, there's just there's some positive aspects to this. I think come end of May or June or whenever we finally get out of this and we get back to our normal lives, we're going to be ready for it. But I think while we're in the moment, you can choose to look on the negative, but I think you can also choose to look on the positive. I mean, I had times in the military where I was stuck in a very small tent in an area where you couldn't go out, you couldn't go very far because you had people trying to hurt you. So you were stuck in very close quarters with some of your, what was to become your best friends that you didn't know going in, and you got to know each other, really well. And that would last for months and months and months and months, and where you'd go to a deployment somewhere and you start at day number 1, which means I've got 364 days until I get to go home. And I think for me, maybe that's just a mindset. I'm so used to that, so it's not as much of a hassle for me. My family will probably be going crazy, and I keep reminding them, like, hey, I kind of have been through this, and it's easy. You just take everything in small chunks. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to start trying to take some lessons online, do some things. Like, one example is I'm a hunter and pecker, and I type with extreme prejudice. Like, I type, it sounds like my keyboard's going to mess up, and people are always laughing at me on the other side of the cubicle. So, I mean, I can type pretty fast for a hunter pecker, but I hear these other people around me typing because I think I'm a fast typer, and then I hear people are going crazy, and then I look over, and they're like looking at the screen, not having to look at their fingers, and that drives me crazy. So I think there's some online typing classes you can take, so I'm going to start doing that. Try to come out of this on the other side and be somewhat of a typer, and shock my friends, my workmates, impress them. So that's one thing I'm going to do. The kids are doing online, like, music lessons, and my son is taking guitar lessons online. I'm not sure if my daughter is. I don't think she is, but she's out, practicing running. She's doing sprints in the neighborhood. My wife and I are like, man, we're getting the most out of our broadband internet with all of our work calls and conference calls and everything. So it's just a total different kind of shift in the way you do business, and it'll become the new norm, and then we'll shift back and have to get used to going back into the office again. So for those of us that work in an office. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, I just wanted to spend a few minutes talk about the week. I'm actually I've now been through the experience that is the Tiger King. There's so many people like, why is everybody watching that? Trust me, just watch it. You know what? Don't stop after 1 episode. Don't stop after 2 episodes. By the time you get through 3 episodes, you'll ride it through. It is. If you like going to the airports and watching people, Tiger King will be like that on steroids. It's some very interesting people, and the funny thing is, I've run into some of those folks in Myrtle Beach. My mother-in-law lives in Myrtle Beach, and we go down there to visit frequently, and they have a little tiger thing there on the boardwalk that I always wondered where those tigers came from, and now I know because I watched Tiger King. So, and I think I've seen one of the freak shows in the series. So, but yeah, that was fun. I binged right through Ozark. If you haven't seen Ozark, man, what a good show. I don't know if I can be plugging things on my video here. I'm not monetized or anything, but man, Ozark is such a. I mean, start from the beginning. I just finished. I guess it was season 3. It was so good. Some weird stuff in this one, some kind of gross stuff, but man, it was a ride. I'm kind of sad it's over now. Maybe I'll watch it twice with my son. So, but yeah, and I think I started Dark Shadows tonight. The old, like, 1966 Dark Shadows. So I'm started episodes 1 and 2 of that. I'm going to keep going and do that along with all the work I'm doing. I'm being very productive while I'm teleworking. So anyway, I've just killed 10 minutes. I will leave it there. I think this weekend I'm going to brew old school double IPA if I can figure out how to do that in time and space. I mean, I'm starting to get where I'm stacked up in terms of brews. I've been doing a lot of brewing with this COVID-19 response. So anyway, have yourself a very happy homebrew. Please take care of yourself. Please wash your hands. Please look out for the elderly in your neighborhood. Check in on your neighbors, make sure they're okay. Don't go expose them, but call them, email them, knock on the door, check, just make sure everybody's alive, and have a very, very happy homebrew Wednesday. It's been a long day. I'm tired. Cheers.